We're hunting One Piece chapters up on Reddit. Maybe it's there. No, it's not. No One Piece this week. What are we going to do? Hey all stars, how are you? It's Penner's Gaming here. Thank you for tuning in for another One Piece video, and I'd just like to say, remember to subscribe if you'd like to become an all-star yourself. Like, comment, tell me what you think I can do better. This channel is here for you, trying to make the best I can to my ability. So just let me know what you want. Today, because there's no One Piece chapter, obviously, this week at all, and I need to start posting more regularly anyway, we are going to start doing a comparison series of the anime versus the manga. Or manga, however you want to pronounce it. Tomato, you know how that goes. Alright. So, I reread the first chapter and watched the fourth episode of the anime because that's where it actually lines up. The first chapter, of course, is Romance Dawn. It's just, I believe, a cover spread that shows Luffy in Fuchsia Village. And the chapter starts off with Luffy, of course, meeting Shanks, trying to prove that he's brave, stabbing himself in the eye, which is completely crazy. So, the anime cuts that out, of course, because you can't have a kid stabbing himself in the eye is part of the anime that children are going to watch. That makes sense, to say the least. As far as Funimation cuts and everything 4Kids cuts and everything they did, that's one of the most reasonable ones that they did do. I don't know if they even put that in the anime in Japan. I think they did because I think I've seen it before. But on Funimation, definitely not. So, the actual TV episode starts off with I believe it starts off with Nami passed out and the whole, 3 people from Buggy's crew trying to steal her treasure, and she ends up stealing their boat. And then she's like, see you later. Ditches them, and then says, by the looks of the weather over there, cold front's coming in, and in a small boat, you risk a chance of capsizing. So even then, you can see Oda trying to show Nami's weather and navigational abilities. I don't know if that exactly corresponds with the manga. By the time the episodes actually came out, they were pretty far into the manga, so they knew a lot of what happened. So I don't know if that was just filler or if that's really something that they just added. Also, Shanks has the 3 scars down his eye from Blackbeard already. So that means that happened at the same time Red Hair would have been a rival Shanks. So does that mean that Blackbeard could have also been a rival to Mihawk? Was Blackbeard that strong? That's questionable. But Shanks does mention that he believes that, so it's really interesting, and it's definitely people might be underestimating exactly how strong Blackbeard is. Because Blackbeard is strong enough to hurt Shanks. At the same time, Mihawk's was the rival to Shanks. Then obviously Blackbeard is much more physically strong than we ever had imagined. And that's just the first thing that came to my mind about it. There's also a bunch of other cool flashbacks, which you probably remember. When Zoro, in the beginning of the 4th episode, and this is only in the anime. This is not in the manga, because the manga is just romance done, just strictly Shanks up to the point where he leaves the village, and then Luffy leaves the village himself and punches the Lord of the Coast in the head. So, Zoro, in the beginning of the episode, is looking at Luffy and is like, how does the future king of the pirates not have a single navigational skill? And Luffy says, I don't know, I just kind of float around. Aren't you supposed to be some famous pirate hunter, bounty hunter? And Zoro says, I never wanted to be known as a bounty hunter. I went out to search for one man and couldn't find my way back to my village. So they're really telling us that Zoro, back then, still didn't have any navigational skills. Obviously, he doesn't now. So he is pointing out things that have really become and developed something even later in the story. All three of those things ended up being major plot points that were included in the first chapter of the manga and the fourth episode. Obviously, some are in one, not the other. I also noticed in the anime, it's called Patty's Bar, while in the manga, it is called Party's Bar. I always thought it was Party's Bar. I don't know why they did that, but they did. Gotta love the anime and the random changes it makes. But essentially, I think we all know the actual story of what happened in this chapter. Luffy is trying to prove he's brave to join the pirate crew, stabs himself in the eye. They're having a big party, kind of as a celebration. Not really, it's kind of a bad idea for a celebration. And then Higama comes through the door, kicks down the door, gets in an argument with Makino. Gets in an argument with Makino about them not having enough booze for them. That's not good for mountain bandits. Mountain bandits want their booze, especially when they have 1.5 times the average bounty in the East Blue. They think they're hot. So anyways, he demands some liquor. Can't get any. Shanks, being the nice guy Shanks is, passing the bottle. Higama, being the angry mountain bandit that he is, takes the bottle. Hiccup, that wasn't good. Smashes it on Shanks' head. Shanks doesn't say anything for a second and then says, Makino, do you have a rag so I can clean this up? And he's not fighting, not throwing a fit about it, not gonna complain. He's just whatever. And then Higama takes his sword out, throws all of the stuff off the bar onto the ground for Shanks to clean up, and says, have fun cleaning up, and leaves. Luffy, of course, is very upset by this, says, you're not a man if you don't defend yourself. You're not a man. You're not a man. It's true. And Shanks says it's not that big of a deal to him. It's not something he really cares about. And then Luffy, he grabs Luffy by the arm in the manga, and Luffy starts walking off, and he starts stretching. And Shanks looks at him and is like, did you eat that fruit? And Luffy says, yeah, I ate it. It was for dessert. It wasn't very tasty, though. And he explains that's a gum fruit. In the anime, Shanks catches him eating it and says, are you eating that fruit? And then he tries to flip him upside down, and he's shaking him, and his head hits the floor. I kind of like that scene, not gonna lie, it's kind of funny. And he ends up being the gum fruit. He realizes he can't swim anymore. Also, in the anime, they were talking about how well he could swim. And in the manga, they said that he couldn't swim at all. They said that's why he's an anchor. So, kind of weird contradiction of both. I don't really know what that was. Anyways, after that, of course, Shanks is out on the sea, and Higama comes back to town. Luffy's there. It skips all of this in the anime. It just shows Makino running to the mayor's house and asking for help. and then shows what happened at the bar. They kind of switched it in both. Another kind of weird thing, they just like to do a lot of switching, just switch up their storytelling. Even though instead of selling it straightforward, they do one scene and then showed you what happened before, whereas in the manga it just goes straight through it. Shanks shows up with the crew as Luffy's about to get killed, as we all know. Higema don't take none. He ain't taking that. He killing him for bothering him. That's how Higema lives. So, Shanks shows up. Random pirate puts a gun to Shanks' head. Shanks in the anime says, you pulled that gun, but are you ready to use it? And in the manga, he says something like, that gun is your life or something. And he just instantly gets capped off by Lucky Roo. So he also shows Lucky Roo, Ben Beckman, and Yasop in detail, along with a bunch of other characters. I don't think any of the other characters have really come to fruition. That's the word. Because it's fruiting. The budding. Gotta love words. Anyways, of course, the mountebanks are surprised. The pirates say, you're staring at a group of pirates. How surprised can you be? And they all charge. Ben Beckman takes out his trusty cigarette, stuffs it in the eye, twists it around once good, takes out his sword. Everyone just goes flying. He just used like some Mihawk, just like vibration wave, even taking out. He probably didn't even swing it. Probably just took the sword out. That was the slice. That was enough. Knocked all of them up in the air like 20 feet. Higema looks scared. He throws a smoke bomb and then escapes into the sea. So then Higema, of course, is talking to Luffy, saying how no one's going to look for a mountain bandit on the sea and how he doesn't even need him anymore. So he goes throw him over, and as soon as he throws him over, the Lord of the Coast appears behind Higema. Chomp chomp. One bite. I think it's more than one bite in the manga. It's definitely chomp 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 all over the screen. And Higema gets eaten. Shanks appears there. One arm gone. And you see him, of course, give the death stare to the Lord of the Coast. The Lord of the Coast doesn't want any of that because it is Shanks. You don't want to mess with Shanks' death stare. Let me tell you right now. Anyways, he gives him the death stare. The Lord of the Coast runs away like a good little fishy should. And Shanks says, I'm glad you're okay. Luffy's there crying and says, what about your arm? Of course, he lost his arm. And Shanks says it's fine. He'll find another, or he has another. Look at that guy right there. That guy right there. Such a badass. Such a badass. Between these three, who's the most badass? This one here. It was a trick question. It was this one. Wait to see what Dragon does. Dragon's gonna be amazing. At least I hope. He's my favorite personal character. Anyways, Shanks, of course, gets him back to land. They don't really show that this happens. And that cuts back to, well, Shanks essentially showed Luffy that day why he wasn't ready to be a pirate and why he still needed to get stronger. So Luffy decides to train. Shanks gets ready to leave and departs the village. And, of course, Luffy doesn't try and go with him this time. Shanks just messes with him. And Shanks says, one day, when you're a strong pirate, I should have worn my straw hat. I have one. He gives him the straw hat and says, you'll return it to me. As his captain most likely did to him. And, of course, it sets in motion the entire story. In the manga, it ends by showing Luffy grown up, departing on the sea, and he punches the Lord of the Coast in the face. In the anime, I believe the straw hat gets taken by the bird, and the bird jumps, or Luffy jumps on the bird because of that. and then ends up in Orangetown, where Buggy is based. And then I believe, so I'm going to do this in order from manga. So the next one will be episode 1 will be Alveda, because obviously this didn't happen until like the 4th or 5th anime or manga episode that he ends up in Buggy's Orangetown. And it's not even that, it's less chapters than that, because there's a bunch of chapters in the volume, because it's like 3 volumes. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you stuck around, thank you so much for supporting my videos. I've been putting more and more effort into them, and I like learning about video editing and all this stuff related to it. Anyways, I appreciate you guys immensely. Have a great day.